This is a production of the Z-Talk Radio Network. The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Z-Talk Radio, its affiliates, or sponsors.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. You are listening to The Buzz on ztalkradio.com, and it is Thursday afternoon, and we have got a special edition of The Buzz for you. Molly, I'm going to kind of let you take it and introduce our guest this afternoon.
Okay, well, we have the Mountain Gypsies, a mother and daughter team, Young and Tess Hughes. They're from Rome Mountain, Tennessee. That's on the North Carolina and Tennessee border, way up in the Appalachian Mountains. And they do healings and mountain magic, which is not magic. It's God's majestic, which is magic. They were here last month, a couple of weeks ago, for the Paranormal Study Center meeting as our lecture for that week, and they were so well received. We did healings and Mountain Magic 1 class at my house the following days, 2 days, and we just couldn't get everybody signed up that wanted to have healings and for the classes, so they agreed to come back again the 13th, 14th, and 15th of this month. And our healings have already filled up within like 25 minutes. And then the class 1 will be given on Saturday, plus if time allows, we'll do a few more healings that day, and then on Sunday we'll do class 2 for those that took class 1 the last time. But we will ask them some more questions about that, and they can let everybody know about it, and maybe we'll have them back on a regular basis.
Mountain magic.
Mountain magic.
You know, kind of brings up images of, folk healing and home remedies.
And some of it is, but, a lot of it is like herbal stuff, but we'll let them tell us a lot about that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But they're very, very likable and fun-loving, and just, there's never a dull moment with them. They're really a lot of fun.
Oh yeah. I honestly can say that we have not had a bad guest on the Buzz.
No, we haven't. We do good.
Yeah, well, that's because we're lovable. So. Yeah,
we are. But I did want to also mention they have a radio show on Blog Talk Radio on Monday and Wednesday nights. So listen to them on Wednesday night, but on Mondays you can listen to their podcast, up in the archives, after you listen to our show.
There you go.
And also wanted to give a shout out to Nick White, which was also here with them. He is on A&E TV on Monday nights. They're doing the show on the Bell Witch, and I think this Monday will be episode 3
of 5 episodes, right?
Of 5 episodes, yeah. So he's another great guy, and really enjoyed having him here also. But since everything happens on Monday night, I have to pre-record everything.
DVR it and watch it.
Yeah, and sit here and watch it during the day. So, but I think you can catch that on later episodes too. I know they played them several times during the week. So, but that is on A&E, and I believe it comes on at 9 o'clock also.
So yes, my wife, while we actually produced the show, my wife has actually been watching it.
Now Tony has too.
So,
I said, that's not fair. You're getting ahead of me. I won't know what's going on. I have sat here and watched it and not had the volume up, so that doesn't help a whole lot because I don't know what's going on. But that's just me. I do things like that.
well, you could always put it on mute and put the closed caption on and, read it as we go.
Well, that's an idea. I hadn't thought about doing that. I was just trying to read lips, which I don't do very well at.
That's, that brings up something since you mentioned that. Have you ever gone to YouTube and looked at bad lip reading?
No.
Oh, Molly, you have got to. It is so funny. It is so funny. Bad lip reading. They make fun. It's comedy, and it looks. They take pieces of television like NFL football players or politicians or movies, and they do voiceover of what it looks like they're saying, but it's all just funny gibberish. And it is hilarious since you brought that up. It's one of my favorites.
I have to check that out.
But we are at 2:15 in the afternoon, and our guests are due to call in. So what we'll do is we'll go to a commercial break. This is actually a set of commercials. We're only going to run about a 2-minute break because we have got a lot to get to in just a short amount of time. And I don't want to take any time away from our friends, the Mountain Gypsies. So folks, just bear with us, and we will be right back.
Jill, why don't you tell the class what you did this weekend?
Well, my dad and I went in search of some magical minnows and found a zillion of them in the stream from our lookout rock. Then my sister and I escaped from an evil slug king and went back to my super twig fort for safety. Then we told stories till it got dark, and the Big Dipper led us all the way home.
Wow. Where were you, Jill?
We went to the forest. It's not that far away.
Ask your parents to take you and your friends to the forest this week. It's closer than you think. Check out discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Hi, I'm Layla Ali. I might be undefeated in professional boxing, but there's one problem I can't fight alone: childhood hunger. 17 million kids in America struggle with it. That's why the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks gathers surplus food and gets it to hungry kids. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank at feedingamerica.org.
To help solve hunger in your community and to find your local food bank, visit feedingamerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
My beloved corps. Sir, to kill, sir! So you're a killer? Sir, yes, sir! Let me see your war face. Sir! You got a war face? Ah! That's a war face! Now let me see your war face! Ah! You didn't convince me! Let me see your real war face! Ah! You don't scare me! Work on it! Sir, yes, sir!
Hi, this is Savannah Guthrie with an urgent story developing right now in every state and county across America. Despite having more than enough food available in this country, there are nearly 16 million kids, that's 1 in 5 children, struggling with hunger. They often don't even know where their next meal is coming from. And the worst part is, this has been going on for years. There's no excuse for it, and that's why Feeding America is doing its best to put an end to childhood hunger. As a nationwide network of food banks, Feeding America engages local communities in solving hunger by collecting surplus food, giving hope to hungry kids and their families all across our nation. But they need your help. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank. You can start by going to feedingamerica.org to learn more. Together, we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
A message from Feeding America and the Ad Council.
I heard on the news about that 5-year-old who found his uncle's gun. The kid didn't know it was loaded.
I heard on the news about that 14-year-old girl who was bullied online for like a year. She couldn't take it anymore, so she got her dad's gun from his nightstand.
I heard on the news about that guy who broke into someone's house, stole a gun from the hall closet.
He accidentally shot his cousin in the head.
She killed herself.
And later, killed the owner of the store he was trying to rob.
If you own a gun, you have a full-time responsibility. When you aren't using it, be sure it can't get into the hands of curious children, troubled teenagers, a thief, or anyone else who might misuse it. Your family, friends, and neighbors are all counting on you. Remember, always, lock it up. For more information on firearm storage safety, visit ncpc.org. This message brought to you by the National Crime Prevention Council, the Bureau of Justice Assistance, and the Ad Council.
Less painful than a festering carbuncle. Faster than a garden slug. Able to talk over intros in a single breath. It's a bird. It's a plane. Yeah, what is it again? Oh, it's...
This is The Buzz on Z-Talk Radio Network.
You are listening to The Buzz on the Z-Talk Radio Network. Imagine the possibilities. Now back to the show with Kevin Thompson and Molly Spence. The best in alternative talk radio.
Well, we are back. You are listening to The Buzz on ztalkradio.com. We're still waiting for our guest, and they should be calling in here shortly. Tonight, again, like Molly said, we are being joined by the Mountain Gypsies. Now, we are pre-recording this, so unfortunately, we're not able to take any call-ins. However, go ahead and get your pens and pencils out and your pads and write down this number for future shows if you'd like to call in. That is 262-672-2488. So, Molly, what?
Yep.
We had a really good reveal with our investigation.
We did. I was going to say, and do you have any of that handy that you could play that? Because I know we kind of enticed the listeners before telling them about it before we actually did the reveal, and we promised we would wait till afterwards.
Yes.
And but we have had a couple really good things there, but I wish I could see the picture. That's the main thing.
Oh, that was awesome, wasn't it?
That was. And I mean, you know, we weren't even getting, we were just getting set up at that point when you took that picture.
Yeah, that was just purely random. You know, sometimes you just have to go with your gut. And my gut said, hey, you need to take a quick picture of this.
Yeah, but I tell you, I've never seen anything that solid before in a picture. And you took several after that, and we couldn't duplicate it. And seriously and intentionally tried to duplicate it. Let me load a couple of our EVPs here. Now's when they'll call.
Yes, I know it. And that's okay. We can always put the EVPs away whenever they call.
We'll put our toys away.
Okay. Now, this one was early on in the investigation. This was an EVP that was taken probably about 20-30 minutes into an EVP session up on the second floor of Madison Station Antiques in downtown Madison, Alabama. And I believe it was Stacy was asking, are you female? And you will hear a voice, and then you'll hear me confirming it because I was hearing in my head an affirmative response. So let me just play it. Let me make sure that our gain and everything is cut up. And you guys tell me what you hear.
Are you female?
Sorry.
Oh, no problem. Okay.
Let me take this.
All right. Now, for you listeners, I'm going to play it one more time, and you'll hear Stacy say, "Are you a female?" And there's a long pause, about 3 to 4 second pause, and then you'll hear a response, and then you'll hear me confirm the response. So we'll do this one more time.
Can you turn that up just a tad, please? I haven't even had trouble hearing it.
Yep. Okay. Now, if you couldn't understand it, Let me cut up my equalizer. And we will try it again.
Are you female?
There we go.
That's good.
Now you'll hear me at the very end. That's not the EVP. That's me going, at the end. Let's play another one. Let me get to Molly's favorite. This one was late in the investigation, and we were actually downstairs at a large antique-style bar, or a saloon-style bar. And
I think that bar is original to that building, isn't it?
I believe so, because Andy, the manager of the location, said that at one point in time it was actually a saloon, so that may actually be original.
Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought.
So we'll play it in its entirety, and then we'll go through and explain what you're hearing.
Famous ever drink at this bar?
There it is. Ooh, that's exciting.
Well, they'll hear us talking too, but it talks over us.
Yes. Now, we'll play it one more time, and what you're hearing is Molly ask everything, or has anybody famous
ever drank at that bar?
Yes, and you'll hear a long pause, because I don't like to edit my EVPs too much. That way they don't seem like they may have been faked or tampered with. And you'll hear us, we wait, then you'll hear the response. Down the very end, you are hearing a train going by.
Famous ever drink at this bar?
There it is. That, to me, is exciting.
Me too.
Huh?
Me too.
Yeah, it's like it says, I'm over here. So we will play another one. This is the same one, but what I've done is I've actually filtered out the train as best as I could and the background noise, and this is the voice itself. One more time.
It comes as a whisper.
It's like it's saying, I'm over here. You know, Molly, the more I listen to this one, though, it sounds like it says, I'm over here. And then, the floor is popping because, that's us, possibly shifting our weight or what have you. But it sounds like it is saying something after, like I'm over here, and then it's like it's saying a name.
I thought I heard that too, but I can't make out what it is.
Let's play it again. Whoops.
Russian.
Whoop. Sorry. Yes,
Wrong
and
button.
the spirit of Fox News was there.
Foxy spirit.
I don't know what that is, but I heard it, but we didn't include it necessarily in our evidence because we're not able to validate or verify what it is saying. So, but there you have it.
Well, thank you very much.
Let's go to our next one. And this one was pretty neat too. This is going to get hurt on the glass, and then you'll hear a voice after that. This even is very slight, so you may have to listen really, really close.
Happened in the store. Are you worried that someone else is going to get hurt on the glass if it doesn't get moved?
You can't get back down.
Okay, one more time.
Happened in the store. Are you worried that someone else is going to get hurt on the glass if it doesn't get moved?
You can't get back down.
Okay, now
tell the story.
Oh, wow.
That goes with that.
Okay, well, I'll put in my pieces, and then I'm going to let you tell your side of it, because it's a really, really, really neat story. At least in my opinion, it is. What happened was the spirit was speaking. It was the spirit of a young boy, and he was giving me a lot of imagery really, really fast, and speaking really fast. And he was saying early on in the audio, somebody tell them to move the glass. The glass is in my way. The glass is in my way. And I didn't understand exactly what he was meaning by the glass is in my way. Then he says, correct me if I'm wrong, Molly, I'm stepping up on the glass and the glass broke.
Mm-hmm.
The glass broke, and that's where Stacy comes in this piece of audio. She's like, well, are you afraid somebody is going to get hurt by stepping on the glass? And you hear in this little piece of audio a little voice in the center there that says, yes. Then you hear me talking for the spirit. Right now my mind is racing, so I can't remember exactly what I just said. But then you will hear in another piece of audio that we have a voice that says, I did it. So, okay, cool. You know, we had spirit communication. We pack up for the night. We leave, late in the night, early in the morning, and we go home and we're going through all of our evidence. Well, in the meantime, in the intervening 2 weeks, Christy and Andy, who are the managers of Madison Station Antiques, they said when we went back to do the reveal that, was it that weekend, Molly?
Yes, it was. I think Christy worked on Saturday, I believe, and that's when all that happened.
Yes, that there is a display case that is completely glass, and it has little shelves inside that are all glass. And there was some antique bayonets and some razors, like the single blade razors that you used to shave with, the old style barbers shaved with, and they had sold one of those, so they knew that all the glass was intact. Christy comes back to work the next day, and the back door, the glass door to that case, had been broken, as was one of those shelves. And there was
they couldn't get it back together again. So
so it is exactly as the spirit said. That I'm goosebumping right now, Molly, just remembering this story. The spirit said, the glass is in my way. Tell them to move the glass. And then it describes the glass breaking, the glass on the floor, and I'll be damned if it did not happen. So,
and the way that Christy was saying when they were trying to put it back together, it was like somebody was standing on the glass to where it wouldn't go in the guides correctly or something.
Yes. So this brought up a theory.
Sorry.
No problem at all. Me?
That's what we get for a television, or excuse me.
No problem. So this brought up a theory that me, Molly, and Andy and Christy discussed on scene, that we got the communication first. Then, second after that, was the actual occurrence. So was the spirit warning us that he was going to do this, or did it already occur in his time and he was simply, telling us about a future event, or was he actually living this previous to us picking up the audio? Oh, does that make sense, Molly?
Yeah. Do we have a caller coming in?
Yes, we do.
Okay,
welcome to the Buzz on ztalkradio.com. Who do I have?
This is Kat Young from Mountain Gypsies.
Yay, you
hey,
made it.
There you are.
Yay.
Welcome
Hello.
to the Buzz.
Well, hello. How are y'all doing today?
Good.
We're doing
How
great.
about you?
I am actually driving down the road. That's usually what we're doing. We're usually on the road going somewhere.
Yep.
Oh, it sounds familiar, doesn't it, Molly?
Yep. They're not called gypsies for anything. They stay on the road.
I was driving down the road and I thought, I'm supposed to be doing something right now. What is it? I was like, oh no.
Oh.
I'm supposed to be doing a radio show, I think.
Yes, you are. But that's okay. You made it. And that's the important thing.
Yeah. Where are you heading off to now?
Well, I'm opening a new studio up in Roan Mountain where we live, where we're going to be doing a lot of events where we can have people come for classes and to get their healing done there. We had a studio down the mountain, and so we moved it up the mountain. And I just had met the people where I'm putting the studio, so now I'm going back down the mountain to the old studio to work with some people that I used to work with down there. So everything's like 45 minutes from the village we live in. So, we're doing that.
Is this the house? Is this the house that you sent a picture of earlier?
No, this is a different one. That fellow, believe it or not, didn't want to rent us because we're gypsies. Isn't that awful? But it's true. That's just the way it goes sometimes. And, we're not going to make us think about it. It's just, it's just that old belief, of, gypsies and black magic and all that stuff and everything. And I went through the whole, understanding of who we are and what we are. And, but still, he said he had to pray about it. And I guess the answer from God from him was no.
Oh.
Well, that's too bad.
Yeah.
That looked like a really neat place.
It was, but it was incredibly haunted. So I would have had to do it at, like a ton of cleansing and all that. But the place I had found a couple other places, and they're amazing, too. So, just waiting to that. But I think the one that I had finally decided upon is, I think that's the one that's going to be the place. I'll know for sure tomorrow. So we'll see. It's exciting. I get excited easy, Molly. You know that.
Yeah. Well, see, that guy lost out, though. You would have been doing him a favor.
Well, you would think, right?
She did do him a favor with all those clearings. Maybe he should have prayed about that.
Exactly.
People, we're in the belt buckle of the Bible Belt, and people don't they don't understand a lot of things, and they're just stuck in that spirit of religion, and they want to stay there, and they just want to. It's sad for them, that they want to just be so narrow-minded. It's kind of crazy to me, though, especially when you go into great detail about this is what we do, and we heal in the name of God, and we, we believe Father, Son, Holy Spirit. We follow these rules, and we follow the ancient ways, and that's how we do and what we do, and they just look at you like you've got three heads, and it's like, he just. Then they run like you're going to get them. To be honest with you, though, sometimes in some of the women in the village up here that are are so excited about us being here, and some of the men too, but mainly women. I don't know why that is. But they said they felt like there must be something about me that I don't get, but they said they felt like he felt like I could see all the way through him, and that intimidated him on some level.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that last show, did we not, Molly?
Yeah, we did.
But and he had some stuff. He had some secrets, no doubt, and I did see some of those, and I could tell it made him uncomfortable. But I wasn't gonna, bring him out and talk to him about it. I might now. No, I wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
Yes, I would.
well, Kat, for our listeners that may not be familiar with who you are and what you do, what exactly to explain to us
tell
what
them
the
what
Mountain Gypsies do.
What am I?
Wait, what you is?
Well, that's a good question, and a lot of people have tried to figure that out, and who knows? We're Mountain Gypsies, and Mountain Gypsies it's really a conglomeration of a lot of spiritual heritage that has come together. And on my father's side, it is the Scottish Traveler and the Cherokee, and therefore we get the Mountain Gypsy. That's where the gypsy part comes from. The Scottish Traveler. A lot of people think when they say gypsy, they usually mean the Roma gypsy, the Romanian gypsy. But if you put Mountain Traveler, they would just think, what does that mean? So it's easier for people to understand the word gypsy. But Scottish Traveler is a similar thing to the Romanian gypsy, and that's where our heritage comes from, and the Cherokee line as well. And then on my mother's side, you have the Melungeon and the Cherokee. And Melungeons are a tribe breed of people. Now, how you come up with a tribe breed, I don't know. But I guess it was just a big party one night. I'm not sure. But it is an actual thing, and it's really, they don't know. It's a group of people. They really can't tell you. There's a lot of testing, DNA testing being done and everything. It's very inconclusive. We've heard Cherokee, Egyptian, European, and then you hear Cherokee, African American, European. They're not sure, but it creates what's called the blue people. And you will have a family where someone looks African American, they'll look blonde-headed, and then they'll look Cherokee off in the same family, a group of people. And it was in all this. My parents came together, met, got married, and they created. Both sides of the family are very spiritual, different gifting on both sides, and then it created us, and me being the most different gifted one of all, and for years and years, did it privately, and decided a few years ago through the, prodding of Carmen Reed. Carmen is the original mother from Haunting in Connecticut. 15 years, actually, she poked and prodded for me to come out, and because of what we do and everything, and fear of what people would say and how they would treat us and things of that nature, I didn't do it publicly. But finally I said, okay, and at the risk of losing family, friends, and everything, I came forward and did that, and that's where we are. And, and we are doing it publicly and have been for a long time. And what we do is we are gifted from birth, and we do healings and clearings, and we do exorcism, whatever the person in front of us, God puts in front of us, that person, whatever their need is, whatever need they have, God puts us there to help meet them on. And it's not us, but it's God through us. Does that help?
Actually, it kind of does. We have another caller on the line. Welcome to the Buzz. Who do I have on the line?
Hello, this is Tess from Mountain Gypsies.
Tess!
Yay!
The gang's all here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's a little crazy here. Not our life. Our life's not chaotic at all, ever. Yeah. We're always running, a million miles in the opposite direction. That's just normal, though. Yeah. So this is my daughter.
Keeps
this
life
is my oldest
interesting.
daughter. Yeah. Jesse's my oldest child, and she and I work together. And we live together. We work together. We do everything together. And then she and I travel on the road everywhere, doing events, doing paracons, doing private, whatever, people need, if it's a clearing on a house or just personal health issues or whatever. So we do stay, and we take care of it all by ourselves. So it gets a little, like I told her, so we've got to get a secretary. Molly, are you available?
Am I available for what? I missed that.
We need you for our secretary.
Oh, yeah, I'm just secretary on this end. What do you need me to go on the road too?
Yeah, we need you to go on the road. We'll make our home base in Arizona.
Yeah, here's the thing. There's not many people in this world that can keep us even semi on schedule, and you happen to do that as best as you could when we were in Alabama. That's pretty amazing.
Well, cool.
It was. She kept me on schedule. I'm on gypsy time, which is completely different, and it's really
like
hard for
Tulsa
people
time.
but Molly did. Yeah, she was firm with me, and not many people
snapping
are.
my fingers and saying, "Okay, now you got to know how to do that."
She is wonderful, isn't she?
Oh my gosh! I love Molly. I do, and she is just a wonderful person. Oh my gosh! I'm sorry. There's like a bunch of baby deers running down the road beside of me. Oh my God, how beautiful is that? Okay, I'm sorry. We just live in the most beautiful place on earth up here.
Is that what you did with squirrel?
Yes, exactly. I'm so ADD. I can't. But if you'd have just seen this was 3 little baby deer, fat as pigs, and they were just running along beside of us. So, except that one of the baby deers had antlers. Do baby deers have antlers?
Yeah, they're spikes. They're called spikes.
Well, no, this is like a full set. Maybe they weren't babies after all. Maybe I need glasses.
It's
maybe you should be focusing on that.
It's deer puberty.
Maybe I should have burnt that sage before coming. Maybe that wasn't safe.
That happens when they reach a certain age. The father deer takes them aside and says, "Listen, you may start growing antlers in weird places. It's okay."
So I have 4 children, actually. I have a son and 2 other daughters, and my son and my other daughter, my middle daughter, they really don't. They use their gifts when they want to. Now, my youngest daughter, she's extremely gifted, and she goes with us when she can, and we're working on helping to learn her. There you go. Teaching her to control her gifting, so it's not just so out there and random and
We're gonna learn her how to use them special powers.
We're gonna. This is making fun of our Southern ways. Learn her how to use special powers. Sorry, that's funny too.
Well, actually, it is something. I mean, to be taught in a home where there's a lot of gifted people to kind of harness that energy and how to direct it correctly. It is an art, and I'm very blessed to have a mother that was able to do that. Not just with me, but with my siblings as well. And she took into consideration like how we're all gifted very similar, but yet very different in the same sense. So that's really great, and I'm very, very thankful that I had that growing up.
Oh, thank you, sweetheart.
Well,
I think it's great that y'all get along as well as you do. I don't know that I could do that with my daughters,
Well, yeah, I mean, we have moments. We get along 90% of the time. Well, I'd say 98% of the time, but there's a 2% in there. Nobody wants to be around us when that happens. Because you get 2 people that are that gifted that lose it, things start flying around the house and nobody's touching anything. It's kind of crazy.
Yep.
But it's very rare. I mean, we have respect for each other and we love each other and we want the best for each other. And that's our whole teaching. Our entire teaching is about love. Mm-hmm. Our entire teaching is about that unconditional love that accepts and it heals and it forgives and it lets go of, and that's what we do. You know, Molly, you went to Mountain Magic Phase 1.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's not what anybody ever thinks, and it's about self-love and love for the world and people in your past, and cleansing yourself before God so that you can actually learn how to be the healer or whatever it is that God's called you to be. It's about opening yourself up to learning your path, and there's no other way. People want to know what their path is, but they don't want to take the time to do the work on themselves to find out what that path is. They just want somebody to tell them or God to show them, but they don't want to take any responsibility for their own actions to find out. Mm-hmm. And so, as you well know, Molly, in that first class, that's what we do. And unconditional love is the number one thing for self and for mankind. Mm-hmm. So if we can't do that at home, then we've kind of got a problem.
Well, you know, that brings up a good point, and I'm going to direct this question to Tess. On our last show with Renee Marie, Molly, remember, we were talking about how some families shut down their gifts because they would make fun of each other or mock each other or tell them that, you know, the use of special abilities or God-given gifts was wrong. Mm-hmm. Yet, Tess, you grew up in a home that actually embraced that and encouraged that and taught that. When you go out in public or you go to these cons or you meet other people like you, is there a difference with as open as you are with your gifts? Do you think that your raising has given you an advantage or a disadvantage, or how would, I guess maybe what I'm looking for is, what is the difference having been raised in an open environment?
Well, that's an amazing question. Honestly, I didn't realize that other families weren't like mine until I was probably in high school, midway through high school, when I really started paying attention to how people interacted with their parents and things like that. I was like, how did your mother not know you were lying to her? You know, and things like that. My mom could tell even before I opened my mouth what I was going to say. And I realized that, you know, we knew that we were gifted. We knew that we had, you know, special things different from a lot of people through Christ, but at the same time, I just assumed that most people were like that. Then going into the, you know, regular real world as a, you know, a young adult and into, you know, I'm 30 now and working in paranormal, it's really embracing now in the paranormal, but at the same time, I know that my gifts were nourished. Like they had a lot, like if you can imagine it as a plant, I had sunshine and water and was, you know, loved as opposed to a lot of people that didn't get all of that weren't necessarily shunned or whatever for their gifts. That being said, I also grew up in the South where we weren't allowed to talk about some of the things that we did and how we, you know, we work and what we do and how we burn sage to clear things and stuff like that. Just because a lot of people didn't understand it, and therefore because they didn't understand it, it freaked them out. So, you know, a lot of it was behind closed doors, but at the same time, in my own home, I was very accepted. And I think because of that, it gave me strength and authority to kind of go and do what we do now.
That's a good word.
That's also watched where I grew up, you know, my parents so desperately did not want anybody to know kind of, you know, what we did. So it was hidden under, like, the church scene of doing clearings and healings and that type of thing. So that even though you did it like, oh, let's just anoint this person and pray for them, that you didn't really, you know, walk in the gifting so much because it was considered unintelligent by the world. It was considered taboo by the world. And so I grew up where even though we knew it was there, we talked about the grandparents and the great-grandparents and all the light and dark on both sides that happened. It was never anything that we were ever allowed to do publicly or talk about publicly. In fact, my brother was in the ministry and totally denounced and renounced, you know, of having anything to do or even it existed. And, you know, I always tried. I became an ordained minister. I was a youth pastor, a college pastor, and it would, you know, always go to where I would use my gifting till the churches would finally be like, wait a minute, we don't know, they would allow me to do so much, and it was like, oh no, you can't do that. That you're prophesying, or you're laying hands on people, or you're doing this. That's not of God. It's like, did y'all know Jesus? Did y'all read the same? Have y'all met Jesus? So I'm pretty sure that's exactly what he was doing. But it's just out of fear of being perceived as not intelligent. We don't want people to think that we're walking in a spiritual type thing. Well, hello, we are. God's word says we're not about all flesh and blood, but spirits and principalities and authorities in high places. And they'll preach that all day long, but then when you start acting that way, and a lot of the churches totally freak out. So, when I started doing this publicly, I did lose my family. They turned their back on me.
Oh, boy. Wow.
So growing up, seeing that, and also feeling, because it's your mother, watching her go through it, and growing up, our family is still important to us, and then for them to treat us the way that they have, has been pretty earth-shattering. At the same time, we wouldn't change it for the world. We wouldn't change it for the world because of the people that God's put in our path. To almost like substitute, it's pretty awesome.
Well, when you finally submit to God, what His will is for you, what you're calling it, when you finally completely submit over to that calling and give it to Him, and the doors open, and you see the magic of God's life. You see the real healing. You see how it was meant to be, what He's called you to do. And you can't answer to brother or sister or mother or father. And He speaks of that in His Word. And when you do, and you're restricted by that, then you don't walk in your full gifting. You have to answer to God only. And I finally had to make that decision. And when I made that decision, it was not comfortable. And some of the most uncomfortable decisions we make end up being the most worthwhile. And nobody said it was going to be easy. Nobody said that it's a pain-free world. But I wouldn't go back for anything. I wouldn't take back that I'm publicly doing this because, everybody's so afraid of the darkness. Everybody's so afraid of the evil out there, and that's all they talk about. But one pinprick of light in a room of darkness will illuminate the whole room. And we have forgotten that, man. The whole world has forgotten that the light can overcome the darkness. In fact, the light has already overcome the darkness. A lot of us have bought into the lie that the darkness is stronger and can win. And that's what we're out there doing, reminding people who they are and what the light is about.
Has your mother never come around to accepting that you're doing this, or your family?
When nobody else is around. She wants to know, and she talks about it, and she'll tell me some more of the family things that happened to her when she was little. Her mother was dark. Now
so she is accepting.
So she not to the other family members and stuff like that. And she'll want to know everything that's happened, and then she'll always end it is, well, as long as you're doing it, and you're not sinning, and
and you're doing it in the name of
she always adds that little, thing on it because she knows that we are out there serving God, but then she's always got, the spirit of religion on the other side. And they're walking in there out of fear of their own gifts. There's just the fear because there were so many dark people in our family that had the gifts and used it for evil. And it's that fear of, oh my gosh, if I start doing this, will I give over to the dark side? Well, hell, honey, you've got free will. Don't do it. Yeah. Just continue to serve the light. And people forget that. You don't have to be afraid. Walk in the light, But that spirit of religion and that spirit of fear, people get held in that. And they don't know how to get out of it.
Exactly. Oh. But Tess, you're raising your kids in the same way.
Absolutely.
That you were?
Yeah. Absolutely. Just recently,
I know they're still young, but
yeah. Just recently, my youngest. They're both very good. My youngest is very good to like Kat, to the point that sometimes their energies collide, and it's quite hilarious. But nevertheless, we were actually, a friend of ours had a house. And they asked us to come look at it. They thought it was kind of creepy. we did a walkthrough, and I had my children with me, and I normally don't do that. But, of course, we were protected by God and the light, and we walked through, and my children started acting it out, things that had happened in the house. And they were very accurate. We found out later, of course, they were very accurate and very on point. And it was hard to watch them as a mother do what I do and what Kat does. So I can only imagine what Kat has to go through to watch me follow in her footsteps and so on and so forth. But we are. And we'd explain it to them. And Kat explained it to me growing up, that it was very real and it was this going on, it was that going on. She didn't have that, she didn't have that, somebody explaining it to her completely. And that, I think, did a lot more harm than it did good, because, it really confuses a child. Knowing that and seeing that, she's used that to help us, and I've definitely used it to help my children as well.
Well, what we heard growing up was, yes, it's happening, but pretend it's not. Just pretend it's not real. Pretend it's not happening. Pretend it's not real. Pretend it's not happening. And that's really hard to deal with.
Yes, it is.
Go
ahead.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I was just agreeing. I apologize.
No, I didn't hear what you said. That's okay. But with our boys now, my grandson, my 3-year-old grandson, he's very articulate. Like Tess was talking, we went to that house and he started acting out. He says, he's going on about, I can't see my children, my family, and all this. And then he walks out in the hallway and he looks at me and goes, where's my mommy? I said, well, honey, she's standing right there. And he looks and goes, that's not my mommy. I can't see my mommy, Daddy, and it's so dark. I went, oh no. I said, Tess, go anoint the baby. Go get an oil, anoint the baby. Let's do prayer. And we started doing prayers over him because we realized, you're born into this. You can't help it. People are like, oh, that's it. How can you be evil to be born into a gifting God gives you? But you have to teach the children. God's given you this beautiful gift. You need to understand how to walk with it and use it. And we found out later that, there was a lady that lived there that had lost her infant child, and it tore the family apart. And he was feeling all this and acting upon it. And so he, children are so pure of heart that he didn't understand what was happening, but he wasn't upset because we told him, I was like, oh, you're seeing, a family that used to live here before. You're just seeing like a picture that was imprinted in the air. And when you explain that to him, he's like, oh, okay. And he just started playing, and it's not that hard to explain to them. They're pretty smart. They can understand what a picture is and what air is, and that there's a picture floating in the air. And so, it's okay. But sadness, like the mother had mourned in this house so terribly, that sadness in that mourning, that's residual energy that will just linger in there, and just hang. And, actually, that was the house that we were going to put we wanted originally to put our clinic in. But, that's not going to happen.
Well, I'm glad you found another place anyway.
Yeah.
That's good.
And I think you said something about us not being made fun of in our gift. One of the things that Kat actually taught us, first and foremost, was to laugh at ourselves, even whether we ran into a wall when we're walking or spiritually when we're working. So that was something that, laughter cures a lot of things. And that's something that we live on all the time. Isn't that right, Kat?
Oh yeah. Well, we're characters, and I realized that early on that my grandmother and my grandmother on mom's side, my grandfather on my dad's side, there were characters, and weirdly enough, I resemble both of those on both sides of the family, and I realized really early on that we were characters, and people are drawn to us. If we can't learn to laugh at ourselves pretty quickly, we're going to be in trouble, because people are going to be drawn to us. People are going to say a lot of things hurtful, and a lot of positive stuff too. So you just got to go with it and laugh with it, and just realize a lot of people are saying things out of their own hurt. And you got to let it bounce off of you. That doesn't mean we're, always like that. There are times that, we want to throw a bunch of people too, but we don't actually do it. But, well, Tess might, I don't know. But,
wait, what?
She's
but
calling
we do.
you out.
We love to laugh and go on. But as silly as we are, and as much as we get cracked up, Molly can tell you, we get just plumb silly sometimes. But when we do the work for the Lord, we're pretty serious about that.
Yeah,
and,
they get down to business when they need to, and crazy the rest of the time.
But laughter is one of the most wonderful things to deter evil and darkness.
Yes.
It fights sickness. It fights so many things. Joy and laughter is one of the most wonderful things, one of the best healers we have. And people need to tap into that more.
Yeah. Well, we fought it off the weekend you were down here.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was fun. We had a big time, I swear. Molly and Molly can pick some of the best radio stations. Did you know that?
Don't go there. Please don't go there. That was so embarrassing. Good Lord.
What
are you talking about, Molly? I don't know what you mean.
You got to tell me now, Kat.
Do what?
You got to tell me now. She left that out.
Let me see. Let me see if I can word this on your show without getting in trouble.
Well, we can't talk about what it was about.
Okay. So I'll say it in a nice. Let's see. We were in Alabama, and Molly. We had walked into where we were getting ready to lecture, and Molly was talking about listening to this wonderful station with music that we like. And Tess was like, oh man, I'd like to find that radio station. Well, after the lecture, we were leaving. Molly stops the car and gets on her face. She goes, oh, the radio station is blah, 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 blah. And so Nick White, who is the investigator on Curse of Bell Witch, which came out 2 weeks ago, he was with us. And so him and Tess are, putting that in the radio, and a couple of songs played, and then all of a sudden it went to a talk radio station, and the subject was
self-gratification.
Well, it's just about making your own self happy, I guess.
Yeah,
I don't even think I would say anything close to it because it was pretty shocking. It was funny.
I'm in another vehicle altogether, and I am turning blood red. I'm thinking, oh my God, what have I just told them to listen to?
Well,
but it was what the conversation that they were having was leading up to the next song that they were going to play, but it was like it was never ending. They wouldn't shut up.
You remember? It was like wasn't it Dr. Ruth? Was it not Dr. Ruth?
No, I
something
don't.
like that.
Dr. Ruth.
But God,
wasn't there a female doctor, Dr. Ruth? That she had those horrible. Yeah, it was one of those type conversations.
But I was so embarrassed. I thought, my Lord, I told them to listen to these good radios or these good songs, and then they talk about something like that, and I'm going, oh, good.
Yeah, I know, Molly. It doesn't take a lot to embarrass you, though.
Oh, you should be with me and her then, because I'm telling you, I don't know. We kind of shook her out of it a little bit. She got a little bolder as the day went on. She had to defend herself around us.
Yes,
she didn't have any choice.
I gotta hang out with you guys because I'm the one in the group with the sophomoric sense of humor. I am.
We would be in so much trouble then.
I am quick to tell a sex joke, a fart joke. I mean,
See, now, Mom, you got to say that, and I can even tell that you were making us listen to self-satisfaction radio.
Self-satisfaction. That sounds like something we can put on Z-Talk.
Yeah.
The self-satisfaction show. Anyways,
I'll be on the show with you, but I won't say a word.
Oh, come on, Molly.
I'll let you have the whole thing. I'll just be there for you, for your backup.
You know what, Molly? That just don't sound good on any level, honey.
I know it. It's like, why didn't you just shut up?
Well, guys, before we go to our first break, I told some folks at work to listen in. We're pre-recording the show now, which is why we don't have any callers. But I told them who I was going to be having on the show, and as soon as I said the word Mountain Gypsies, the word gypsy jumped out at everybody. So if you don't mind, I've got to ask this question.
Right.
And it's not sophomoric and nothing to do with self-satisfaction or waxing dolphins or anything like that. People have seen on TV the show about the gypsies. How do you feel about how they portray gypsies on those TV shows?
That is nothing to do. That is Romanian gypsies. That's nothing to do with what we are or who we are. We are Scottish travelers. We are completely different. But I don't know. I can't speak for those people. I know that type of gypsy is it's completely different than what we are. And
like you said, you don't steal their children or anything.
No, no, we don't. We don't want our own, so we're not going to take anybody else's children.
Shoot,
so,
I started to say I have 3 to choose from.
Yeah, so yeah,
keep your favorite.
It is completely different. The way that they do the weddings, the way that they do the fighting, and the Scottish traveler is more peaceful and loving and earth and a medicine and herbs, and it's very spiritual and tinker. Like the Googe side, which was my grandmother's side, they were what they would call day walkers, which sounds like zombie stuff now, but what it was then was they had a home base, and then they would travel during season and do work, do woodwork, do crafting, do things of that nature. And then they always had ministers in it as well. So it's a different type of gypsy as opposed to the type that you see where they have now in Scotland they still do have the caravans, but they're not in groups like the Romanians are. It's a little bit different. They can be smaller groups. The Scottish travelers also have their own language, and each family has their own language that they speak to each other with.
Wow. How do you learn? Now explain that. I'm sorry, I get inspired. I don't know if Molly warned you.
No, I didn't.
Explain that for just a minute. Each family has their own language?
Can you give me an example?
In the Scottish travelers, they you can Google it and find out more about it, but they've never been able to pinpoint it. But every group, especially when they like the ones that actually in Scotland that travel, and again they're not as big as the Romanian travelers or gypsies. They have their own way of speaking, and it's several dialects, and they speak amongst themselves, and anyone outside of it can't decipher. Even another Scottish traveler family will not be able to understand maybe one certain Scottish traveler family. So with me and my kids, we have our own. And Molly's heard us. And we also, because we are healers, we have another healing language as well. And a lot of people say, oh, that's speaking in tongues. No, it's not the same thing. It's completely different. And if you heard it, you would know, because you can hear different dialects. Molly even started picking up.
Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, I understood some of the things that you were saying, even though everything was foreign to me.
Yeah. So,
I nodded my head in understanding, so
yeah.
You knew that I knew what
right. Yeah. And so I speak to my children, and Tess is very private, and she'll speak to me that way, but she doesn't do it, And the only reason we do it publicly is when we're doing healing, so that no one, especially in healing, because we do a lot of public healings and events, and that way if we're working on someone, no one can understand what we're getting. Like say we pick up, we're doing a healing, and we find out someone was molested as a child, or we find out someone has cancer or something like that. We don't want necessarily this person to know. Maybe they don't even realize it yet, or we don't want everybody around us to know. We can speak back and forth, and we know what level of healing we need to go into. And it's a wonderful thing that God's blessed us with, so that we can, do the healing and not cause any extra pain or embarrassment for anyone. So, and that's mainly how we use it. We use it to warn one another when something's wrong, or to be alert that there's something dark or evil around. When it's time to go rob a grocery store, things like that. I just guess.
See, when you're around them, it's this way all the time. It's just
That's great, though.
not a dull moment. It's fun.
Well, guys, we're going to take our first break, and then when we come back, would you mind explaining a little bit about mountain magic and what it is that your practice?
I sure will.
Okay. Well,
I surely will.
Well, everybody, you are listening to The Buzz on ztalkradio.com. You're listening to a special edition pre-record. So stick with us, and we'll be right back after these messages.
The views expressed and opinions given by the individual hosts and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Z-Talk Radio, its affiliates, or sponsors.
Never coming down. Ever since the day she left the ground, she ain't never coming down. Ever since the day she left the ground, she ain't never coming down. Ever since the day she left the ground, gonna be my ecstasy. Talk about my misery. She's gonna be the one that holds me down. She's gonna be the one that sets me free. She's gonna be my ecstasy. Talks about my misery.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. After Britain's Prime Minister called it more likely than not that a bomb brought down a Russian passenger jet over Egypt, the White House not willing to go that far.
We don't have enough information to make our own determination about what exactly occurred. But we do have enough information at this point to not rule out the possibility of terrorist involvement.
Spokesman Josh Earnest moments ago also says the administration is reviewing what steps can be taken to enhance security on commercial flights from certain countries to the U.S. The White House says as someone concerned about spending, the new House Speaker should support closing Guantanamo Bay.
I think Guantanamo detainees should be in Guantanamo.
Speaker Paul Ryan at his first weekly news conference also moving forward with his pledge to do business differently. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live on the Hill.
House Speaker Paul Ryan has pushed through a multi-year transportation bill that included consideration of dozens of amendments. A more open process, Ryan says, that will continue when lawmakers consider a large spending bill to keep government funded through next month.
And our members are going to have a say-so early in the process on how we move forward.
Ryan also calling for more cooperation with the Senate.
I've invited Leader McConnell to come over to our House Republican Conference and to address our conference and to enjoy what we call open mic period.
An invitation, Ryan says, the Senate leader has accepted. Lisa.
Thanks, Jared. Just confirmed, Donald Trump and Ben Carson now have Secret Service protection. Their campaign's requests granted by the Homeland Security Department. Police in Colorado Springs now say a man who killed 3 people during a rampage was armed with 3 guns he purchased legally 6 years earlier, using a rifle to kill a bicyclist and 2 women who were on the porch of a sober living home before he died in a gun battle with police. A motive for the killings remains unknown. You're listening to Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
When Dad needed help getting around, I became his driver. Any daughter would do the same. But soon enough, he needed help doing more things, and it was up to me to be his personal shopper and financial manager, too. And before I knew it, Dad moved in with me. So I became his cook, his personal assistant, his physical therapist, and even his nurse. When I started taking care of Dad, I didn't realize all the roles I'd have to play. But no matter what, I know I'm still his daughter.
We understand the many roles you play, and to help, we created an online caregiving resource center. At aarp.org/caregiving, you can find resources and connect with the caregiving community. Together, we can better care for ourselves and the ones we love. Visit aarp.org/caregiving to learn more. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Presidential candidates converging on Concord for a second day, filing for New Hampshire's first-in-the-nation primary.
I was 16 out of 16 when I started campaigning here.
I was known by less than 3% of the New Hampshire voters.
Carly Fiorina saying she feels good about how far she's come. Marco Rubio filing this morning while fending off Donald Trump's recent attacks on his personal finances.
We're going to continue to talk about our message. This campaign is about the finances of the American people.
Meantime, protests over Trump's weekend plans.
Protesters chanted outside NBC headquarters in New York, demanding the network find someone other than Trump to guest host Saturday Night Live this weekend.
Due to FCC regulations, Trump can only appear in this promo for less than 4 seconds. Isn't that right?
That's correct, Cecily. I'll be hosting Saturday Night Live.
Time!
The protesters, who say Trump's views on immigration are no joke, have gathered around 500,000 signatures on the petition. No comment about the protests from NBC Universal or Donald Trump. Rachel Sutherland, Fox News.
More than 500 U.S. paratroopers jump into Spain, part of a massive NATO exercise, Operation Trident Juncture.
It is intended to coordinate NATO allies and send a message to potential foes, Russia included, that the U.S. can rapidly deliver a fighting force. General Steve Townsend.
We're sending a message to our friends and partners in the region that the United States is there to support them and can go to war. We'll go to war with them. And also a message to potential adversaries, whoever they might be.
Paratrooper Ian Harris says this is about keeping the bayonet sharp or skills maintained. He says paratroopers need to be ready to go to the fight at any time. In Zaragoza, Spain, Mike Tobin, Fox News.
Scientists from around the world analyzing 28 extreme weather events say 14 of them bear the fingerprints of man-made climate change, either at least partly increasing their likelihood or strength, including California wildfires. Fox News Radio.
All right, everybody, we are back. You are listening to The Buzz on ztalkradio.com. And unfortunately, we cannot take any calls tonight because this is a special edition pre-recorded show. We are here with Kat and Tess, and they are the Mountain Gypsies. So before we went to break, Kat, we were kind of curious, and I'm sure the listeners are as well. We've talked a lot around it, but you've never quite explained what mountain magic is.
Well, mountain magic is not what anyone thinks usually. A lot of people, they're like, oh, I want to take those classes. I want to learn how to do magic. And a lot of people associate it with witchcraft. And nothing could be further from the truth. In fact, one of the things that we do in mountain magic is we break spells and vexes and hexes and curses and all those things. We also heal. It is a heredity passed down thing. It's generational. But there is hardly anybody that is doing it anymore. Times being what they are and things as they are, families have turned away from it. But I chose to not turn away from it. I chose to keep it going and continue in what I was taught and what I know. It has to do with worshiping the Creator, not the creation. But it's also understanding that the creation that God has, there is magic in it because He created everything and He breathed life into it, and His word and His breath cannot die. And when you realize that you are connected to the throne room of God and that you use the beautiful things on this earth He gave us to work with, that you activate that breath of God. And the magic comes from the word magi. Mm-hmm. So it's not magic like people think now, like I said, black magic, that people always assume that, or witchcraft or things of that nature. It's nothing like that at all, or black witchcraft and stuff. It has to do with the magic, the beautiful, pure magic, purity of God, the original. Yeah. Tess is over here talking. Oh, she's not. She said the raw essence of God.
Yeah.
And the ancient ways. Does that help?
Absolutely. So you're tapping into. Well, let's go back earlier on in the interview, because Tess said used a word that is very crucial. She said that gave me the authority.
Mm-hmm.
And God gives you that authority to tap into His essence. You know, you are His creation, but like you said, you're worshiping Him through being His hands on earth and breaking curses, which can only come from something evil.
Right.
So you are the hands of God.
We teach about walking in that authority.
See, I was paying attention.
Good for you. And most people don't understand that. They don't grasp. They can go to church their whole life and never understand the authority that they have before the throne room of God. And whether you're a healer or whether you are, your gift is in hostess, you know, being a hostess is a true gift. It is a gift that is an amazing gift. It is an important gift. And if whatever the gifting may be, all gifts are equal, and they're all used for a purpose. And you have to have that understanding of being able to walk in the authority of God through you and not walk in fear. And there are plenty of scriptures and different things that teaches you that the battle has already been won, and the rest is just smoke and mirrors. And we forget that. And again, that's what we do. We remind people who they are. They forget.
Oh wow, yeah, I can understand that. See, now my mind is buzzing with more questions. Molly, you may have to slow me down.
I've started to say something, and I'm like, no, I'm not even going to say that because it's going to go the wrong way again. So I'm
no,
Molly, are you listening to the radio, Molly? Is that what it is? That's what's happened.
No, I'm not. But you know, it doesn't even take that to get me started sometimes on different subjects that I don't need to even go there. I do it without meaning to, so I don't know.
Now,
but,
go ahead,
But
Molly.
now,
I'm sorry.
one thing I do want to stress in what we do, and that is one thing that we find very important, is that when Christ walked the earth, when Yeshua walked the earth, He did not ever, when somebody walked up to Him, say, who do you follow? Who do you worship? And what do you believe in? He never put prerequisites on anybody for healing. He always did the healing, and then He would say, go show yourself to the priest. Never in advance did He do that. And we don't do that either. We never ask anybody in advance, what is your belief system? We believe that everybody, God's put in our path for a reason. We are just the facilitators that God works through. We don't know what that seed's going to do 20 years from now. So we try to be obedient. We try to serve whatever that person's need is at that moment. We meet them on their need. God's put them in front of them, regardless of their sexual preference, regardless of their religious beliefs, whatever. It's not my place. God has something in store for them, and I'm just part of their journey. And they come through. I'm just like a train stop on the journey. And they just stop. We do what we have to do, and they keep going. It's not about that. And a lot of people have a problem with that. You know, that we will work on people that maybe don't believe the same way we do. And I don't understand that either. I think it's awesome that we actually get to work on people of all different religions and everything. I think it's great. Some people are very open about what they believe, what they follow, what they do. Some people aren't. But usually, when they are open and they express to us what they've gone through and how they felt a change, it's really amazing to see things change in them. And all we have done is just show them God's love.
Can you tell them a little bit more in depth in case, like I said, you were so well received here the last time that the healing and everything just went overboard this time within just a very short time. All the spaces were filled, and we still have a few openings for the Class 1. Can you tell the listeners maybe a little bit more about what to expect if they should take that course?
Well, class 1 is basically it explains to you that what mountain magic is about and how it works. It also teaches you to know who you are. It teaches you to take the facade down. It's a hard class, and as you know, Molly, I've never taught it that somebody didn't walk out because it wasn't because they didn't like the class. It was because it's too hard to face yourself and face your own demons.
Mm-hmm.
And the first class is about that. The first class is about facing who you are and going before God raw and letting Him clean everything out of you. And also coming to understanding that you are imperfect and learning to forgive, learning to let go, and to truly, once and for all, do that so that you can move forward instead of continually holding on to guilt and all these things. It is the preparation to become the great healer or whatever gifting it is that God has for you. And then, as you all know, it's a long class, anywhere from 8 to 12 hours, and there's a lot that goes into it to get you to where when you, at the end, are before God, pure and open, you can be filled then at the end with the light of God, and you're completely filled so that He can start doing the work in you. And again, it's all free will. It's up to you how much you allow Him to do the work, how much you allow open for that to be received. And hopefully by the time you come to the end, to the ceremony, you're ready to allow all that into you. Unless you experience it, there's really no other way to explain what happens. I know that we have taught it before, and it's been so overwhelming that people have literally fell to their knees in the presence of God there. So it's really heavy, but it's a good heavy. It's a finally releasing.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
we
Molly,
only had one. We only had one in a group of 13, 12. That actually left before the class got started. Very good. Very deep into it.
Couldn't, because I explained in advance what we're going to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't know what to do with that much. Sorry, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead,
A lot of
Tess.
people don't know what to do with that much overwhelming love, too, because I think a lot of people, when we meet them, our light and our love kind of can overwhelm them. It's not ours, it's to God that we have that. And I think sometimes, I know that there's some people walk out of classes before and they've contacted me or pulled me aside later and said, hey, I really want to continue this and I really want to talk to you about this, but I didn't know how to handle that much love at first. And that's
I forget that. I forget that people have never received this much love, because while we're doing this, God pours out His love on this class. And when you have that much love poured out on you, it shows the bitterness and the hatred that you might be harboring, and that's very uncomfortable. But by the end of the class, if you do what you're told and you listen, it should be gone, and you should be through with it, or at least on the journey to that within a very short time. A lot of people think the class is going to be about spells and magic and all that, but that's not what this is about. This is about preparing, and then preparing on a level that they've never, ever had to face before. There are tears. There are, there's a lot to this. But you cannot be a healer. You cannot be the light of God if you have not first cleansed yourself before God in a way that needs to be done. And then the second class is more what we call practical magic, because then we start talking about the things of God, the herbs and the roots and the berries and the oils and the wonderful things that He talks about in the Old Text and how to use them to help set people free and how to heal and all that. But before we ever get there, we have to make sure that we have the people that are prepared, that are ready to hear the information. And that's what the first class is about. It's a cleaning, it's a weeding out.
A purging.
Purging, yeah.
And it's up to them whether they can handle it or not and accept that.
Yeah, and it was really neat to go through.
And then we do healings as well, usually when we
Thank you, Molly.
Well, you're welcome. We still have people calling for healings, even though I've put out there that our time slots are full. We're just going to have you guys back a couple times a month That's all I know.
That's that so many people are broken and hurt, and they don't know where to turn to, and there's not a lot of people. And I'm not trying to put roses on our shoulders. There's not a lot of people that are trying to listen to God anymore on how to heal. They want to do it their way, or they want to do it according to a book or whatever. And what we try to teach is how to become the healer God wants you to be. And everybody's path is going to be different. And our path happens to be the path that was the Scottish Travelers, the Melanchthon, and the Cherokee that was passed down. So, and it seems to be working pretty good.
Yeah. Well, everybody, I think, is willing to go, through class 2 again. That was here for class 1. So,
yay!
I think we have all but a couple people that I have not heard from that was in class 1, but hope to before it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And,
I'm really excited about that. Now, Tess does a lot of the teaching in class 2. And did you hear that? I do the teaching. Yeah, she gets to be set free and talk and do a lot of stuff. And people really enjoy that. So that's really fun. And one of the class things we do teach in class 2 is about chiggers.
Is what?
Chiggers.
Chiggers.
Yeah, she
know what a chigger is?
Yes.
Oh
she
my
got to eat
gosh.
up with them before she came down here.
Yeah, because we make all of our own sage sticks and all that stuff and everything. And I got we like to call them native smudgers. Yeah, they're Native American smudgers. They're native to our area, native to our family. Because most people use the sage and the white sage that comes from out west, and that's not what they use in this area. They didn't have that here. They so we use different. It's what we make different. And oh my gosh, I got into chiggers and they ate me up. So we're going to do a class on chiggers.
The old folks used to put kerosene, I think, on rags and tie it around their ankles and wrists and stuff to keep them away.
Yeah, see, I just got too many people that dislike me to do that. Somebody might throw a match. So.
Well, we don't want that. But frankincense, we know that frankincense works on those. So.
Yeah. So we make a lot of our own remedies, all kinds of remedies for different sicknesses, for heart sicknesses, for anointing oils. We make a lot of different things like that. We also teach different types of healing and stone therapy and moxibustion, and it goes on and on and on. We don't just make our own remedies for healings and things like that. We also make some anointing oils that are pretty amazing, and we make anointing cream, which is now, I believe, been coined by Mr. Nick White as anointing beard cream, because he's using it on his beard, and he says it's better than any other beard cream he's ever used. So that's pretty great. So everything we use is very real, very raw, and it really is amazing to see it work and to know that it's got our love and our passion in it. One of the things was when I was a little kid, I had an overwhelming amount of love, to the point of they would tell me, you touch people too much, you need to stop doing that. I would see people hurting and sick or whatever, and I would just want to touch them. My dad would be like, stop touching them, stop, you've got to stop doing it. And you learn when you're a kid finally to start shutting that down. And one of the things that I was taught as I got older, as what God showed me, was, no, that's not right. You are who you are, and you can't do that, because it's devastating to you as a human to do that, and it will cause illness and sickness, which it did. It caused that in my life. So I asked God, would you please fill me back up with all that, and just like I was when I was a child, and let it just flow through me, and He did. And I'm not ashamed of that love, and I love that I can go out and I can push that into people, and we can put that back into the world, and that He gave me that realization that I'm allowed to do that and do it without feeling that I'm doing something that is wrong. And it's just an amazing thing, when we submit ourselves over to God and we stop
putting the walls up. We realize that we have authority, that they battled one. I mean, when all these things come into play, it will change your life. And that's what our goal is to change your life. And everybody's talking about the veil getting thinner or the veil getting thinner. Yes, it is. And they talk about it, evil's coming. And yes, it is. But if the veil's getting thinner, then it's getting thinner on both sides. And with it getting thinner on both sides, that means the light of God's coming to people. That means that healing is coming. That means that angels are coming too. So this may be true that things are changing, but it's changing on both sides. So we need to understand that and start calling upon the things of God instead of being walking in the spirit of fear. I'm starting to preach, aren't I?
No, but that's true though, because you do see that there's physical empirical evidence of that, because the world is polarizing. So it is getting thinner on both sides. You know, evil is coming through the thin veil, and good is coming through the thin veil. And people are making choices in their lives, and it's evidenced by this polarization that's happening.
Yeah. I think that people want to talk more about the darkness, so it's more newsworthy, you know, and they don't want to talk about, you know, the spirit of fear is such a strong thing, and people are like, oh, you know, they have this happening and Satan's this. Well, you know, Satan was defeated, right? So what's the deal, Pickle? What are you afraid of? Let's walk in that authority we were given. It says we're not only heirs, we're joint heirs with Christ to the throne. That's pretty amazing. And we're acting like we're paupers and beat down. Come on. You know, let's wake up. And his word also says that my people perish from lack of knowledge. And I think that we have been living in the day of Laodicea, a lukewarm church where we have been perishing from lack of knowledge. So it's time to wake up and live in wisdom, knowledge, and understanding.
Do you think people are afraid of goodness if everyone would come together as one? And, you know, are they afraid of that?
Well, first of all, I don't think that will ever happen as long as Satan is alive and well, you know, because it's just not possible.
Yeah.
Because evil will be in the earth and evil will do what it has to do. But I think that people are afraid of the truth. People are afraid that somebody's going to, I hear all the time, well, so-and-so's going to say this about me, or so-and-so's going to think this about, or I would come to you, but can we do it where my neighbors won't know?
Mm-hmm.
Really? I mean, how sick are you? I mean, how desperate are you that you want healing? You know, the sad part is people should be coming to us from the beginning. What we really get is people come to us when the doctor says go home and die.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't be it at all. It should be the other way around. The last resort should be synthetic medicine. You know, we're not anti-doctor at all, by the way, but we are anti-mega amounts of drugs and all this garbage that they're killing America with and they're dumbing down everybody with.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Molly, we kind of see something similar to that with investigations. We've turned down investigations because they're like, well, can you come investigate? Well, sure. Well, you got to do it when my parents aren't home, or you got to do it when my wife's not here, and
you know, because they don't believe in this, and we don't want our kids around, and you know, because that'll scare them, and you know, it's
well, then live with the haunt.
I don't know.
Well, Tess does investigations. I don't, unless it's an absolutely necessary thing. The only type of investigation I'll do is like when it's time to go do the clearing of the house after somebody else has verified that it is a real thing. And then I'll go and check it out, and then we'll go. We don't do it for entertainment, but we will do it to clear.
Yeah.
To help.
Well, we don't do it for entertainment either.
And I didn't mean that like a smack.
No, I knew that you didn't, but I was just going to make that clear that we don't do it for entertainment either. We do it, you know, to
help people.
Right.
You know, it may be just in counseling or something, you know, if nothing more. But
and I'm not trying to put down those who do, because there are people out there. There has to be a training ground somewhere, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, that's not necessarily. I don't know. I have mixed feelings about that. I mean, I think it's according on how you treat the situation, because
it can almost be like a slavery situation too. If there's something bad, then they won't let you rid of it. You know, that's you are not ownership of any human spirit or demonic spirit or angelic spirit. You have no ownership over that, and I think people forget that. You know, we've been in places before. They're like, you can come look around, but don't get rid of any of my ghosts or demons. And I'm like, what on earth? That's one of my grandsons out there. What on earth makes somebody think that they have ownership over that? That thing's going to turn on them and eat their face off, man. You know? I just, that blows my mind. I mean, have y'all encountered that?
Not too much, I don't think.
Well, we just scare the living daylights out of people.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean...
You do, Kat. I mean, we've been in places before, and they always say, especially Kat, that you know, there's things here that we want kept here, don't get rid of them. And, you know, the sole reason I usually do investigations is to figure out what's going on with the family. I'll get contacted to do an investigation and go in to do that. And then that's my knowledge to go in, and they ask me questions, they ask for counseling, they, you know, whatever they ask for, and I kind of go from there. And then I bring Kat in that way. That doesn't happen as often as it used to because we're together so much, and usually we just kind of go in and do it together. Because people say, Tess, you want to go on an investigation? She'll be goes, I will, but Mom's with me and she don't like doing them. Actually, yeah, when we were, I think I can't remember, it was an event. I was like, yeah, I'm going. I turned around, I had no idea what Kat was standing behind me, and I was like, I'm not going to go, you guys. Turns out I'm going to stay here and not go on the investigation. So, yeah. I do enjoy it, but I do it to help people as well. So.
No, but, you know, we do a preliminary where we just go in and you know, speak to whoever, our client, and find out exactly what's going on, and then we, you know, decide what we need to do from there on, if we need to just cancel or do a clearing or whatever the case may be.
Right. And see, we're in the firm belief too that if you've called us to do a exorcism or clearing on your house, you have to promise me at least minimum 3 days of me with you, because I need to counsel you. I need to counsel your family. We need to go back to the house. We need to do spiritual cleanses on you guys. You know, it's not just go in, this house is clear.
Yeah.
You know.
Give them a certificate.
Yeah, that's not how it works. As a matter of fact, I actually had someone, I'm at my beauty shop today.
I was actually going to say the same thing.
And we have a lady in here that the reason she's here, we met her in Florida. They called for us because they had rented a house that was connected to a serial killer, and there was so much activity in that house, it was ridiculous. And so we went down to Florida. They sent us down to Florida, and the house was one of the very first things I said when I got there was, I do not know why, but I don't think you'll ever be able to live in this house. Because I really felt, obviously, we had authority to clear it, but I couldn't figure out why God was telling me, you know, they'll never be able to live here. And then as the story unfolded and it got clear, you know, this was a serial killer, and it was right in the center of the 5 points where he killed these women. Terrible stuff.
It's pretty brutal.
Yeah. The mother-in-law was, I don't know if you would consider a non-believer. What would you say? A non-believer or a practicing optimistic? That's a good word. She went back in the house while everyone was gone because she had been given authority to clean the house, like physically, and she invited everything back in.
Oh boy. Yeah.
And when she did, it brought more, and at that point, it wasn't worth what we had to go through to cleanse it again. And so they packed up and they got out of Florida, and obviously they're here now with me in Tennessee. So, and
that's quite a change.
Well, and he is was very good, and that's not uncommon. We find out people that have things happen in their house are gifted in one way or another, because you pick up, only gifted people sometimes will really pick up on things of that extreme nature. Mm-hmm. And we knew immediately that he was gifted, and we did a lot of cleansings and a lot of work and stuff, and he is now a very strong healer and actually doing healings and has an online business with stones and things like that. And he's gone a long way and fantastic. In fact, when I do extreme exorcisms and things like that, I take him with me. So it's amazing how God works, and he'll put people in your life. You never know what he's going to do, but it's always the most wonderful adventure.
Well, people are put in your path for a reason.
I know, Molly. You got put in my path. What does that mean?
Well, you got put in mine, too.
It means Molly's going to go with us because she's the only person that can help me keep you straight and on and focused.
And on time.
And keeps me focused. It's pretty great. She doesn't keep you focused. She keeps me focused. It's a challenge sometimes. I'm just going to go retire somewhere with Molly, and we're just going to sit and watch everybody else heal the world. Okay, whatever. She says. So she goes. It doesn't matter where we're at. We could be at, IHOP. We could be at the dollar store. We could be at a thrift store. If we're needed, we start working, and that's something that I'm really thankful of too. That my mother never put limitations on where we were or what we were doing when we were called to do God's work. We did it, and that's something really cool to see too.
Because don't you find that people come up to you, even though if they don't know what you do, they're drawn to you?
Yeah, we do. We see that all the time. And like you said, I've been in Dollar Tree, different places before, and somebody will come up and they'll be drawn. And I don't think it's not me, obviously. It's God in me, or it's the Holy Spirit speaking to them, and they'll come up. And we have literally just been in it was Dollar Tree here not too long ago, and I did a clearing and a healing on a woman right there. That aisle was empty. Yeah. Well, we were at a parade. We were at a parade, and a lady walked up to me, and her son was in the same class as my son, and she said, "Hey, you're gifted, aren't you?" And I said, "What makes you say that?" And before the parade was over, we did a clearing and a healing on her that was quite intense, and I was just very thankful that she was put in somebody's yard to do that. Yeah, it was in someone's yard.
In their front yard.
And the lady in here, she just said, "Well, Lord, you did mine on the big can of Cracker Barrel in the Cracker Barrel parking lot." Hey, listen, when the spirit pops up at dark, it's not like, "Oh, could you just hang on a second and let me get back to you?" We thought, well, this is inappropriate. We're in public. But see, spirits will do that. They'll try to attack in public thinking that the human race most human race will not do anything. So, but that's not true. I'll be like, "Oh, really? You want to do it right now? Let's do this." Mm-hmm. So we are not afraid to make a scene. Yeah. Yeah, so what you get everyone that knows. No, we try to do it where it doesn't make a scene. And it's so weird, though. It almost reminds me of that Men in Black movie, because when we do what we do, it's like almost like smelling around his nose. It's like it's like they're knocked out. Nobody remembers. It's like nobody. That's the lady that's here. When we did yours, no one saw a thing, did they? She says, nobody saw anything. And we were on a beach, and it was like people were just milling about as if nothing was going on, and we were doing a full, we were doing sages, we were doing everything on it. People just walking around like nothing happened. And it wasn't like they were doing the sideways look either. Because that's just, God's just cool like that,
Oh, yeah. Well, that is cool.
Well, we've seen it in the salon, too. We've had people come in the salon that didn't necessarily believe everything. Actually, right now, there's someone in the salon, I'm saying outside of it, that doesn't necessarily believe the way we do and not very happy about the way we work. And as we're talking about this and everything, she's completely asleep getting her hair done. Completely. God's just like, we're just sleep and we're able to talk. I'm on the inside of the salon doing that right now. It's quite hilarious.
Oh, me. Well, I am looking forward to you guys coming back. I know everyone is that has signed up for the healing and for the classes, and you were gracious enough to consent to coming back. And then I thought it was just going to be for a weekend, for like a Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday, but we've pushed it all the way back to Thursday afternoon.
Yeah.
So,
But that's a good sign.
it is a good sign. That's what I said. I could keep them here for 2 weeks and have list after list after list of names.
That's exciting. And, you know, we'll come back, too. We were also going to be in Maryland, I think, the following weekend. And then in... You say Indiana, Pennsylvania, Maryland? Yeah, we're going to Atlanta, Indiana, and Maryland, and then here, too. We've got... and they're already booking. And it just tickles my heart out of me, you know, that there's so many people are responding to it. You know, it just tickles me to death. And I got to give God all the glory. It's not me, because me and myself, you know, I'm going to be pretty wretched at times. But, you know, it's just amazing that in spite of us, God will work through us. And that's the most wonderful thing of all.
Now, I'll say a lot, but there's quite a few of them that were here for healings the last time that signed up for healings again this time. Is that something that is quite common, that they keep coming back for healings?
Yes, because it feels so daggone good.
Okay.
Well, that, and you know, I'm sorry, sometimes there's people that will do healings on and get it again. They need that. They need that love. They need that help, you know, whatever.
The reinforcement.
Some people we could do a clearing on, and it's not like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, I know we know a couple in the group that do need to have repetitious clearings or healings.
Well, yeah, and a lot of it too is like an onion. You know, you've got layers upon layers upon layers, and you can only do so much in an hour and a half. And then you get through that. They work. You don't want to overwhelm them too. You get through that, let them work through that for a while. You know, deal with that. Then they're ready for the next level. They're ready for the next level. And then some people are ready for the whole thing all at once, and their spirit allows them to let down the walls, and it all be done. It's up to the individual how much they're willing to let go and to move forward. You know, some people are just like, I've had enough. I want it all. I'm dumping it today. Let's do this. And they do. And then other people are like, I don't know. And you can feel that. They'll hold on, they'll tense up, they'll open their eyes and look at you like, what are you doing? You know, we had a fellow that started to walk out of one of our classes one time, big guy, and he got scared. He got really scared. And Tess was at the back, and he stopped, and Tess stopped and said, are you okay? And he said, he started talking to things. And so we during the break, he stuck around and asked for a clearing, and we did it right there. And these things were leaving him, he had never felt that before. He'd been so accustomed to these attachments, he had never felt anything like that. And as they were leaving him, he kept looking at me going, what are you doing? What are you doing to me? What are you doing to me? What is happening to me? And it was the most amazing thing to experience, as I was seeing these things, live him say that. And
you actually feel a lightness once they're gone. You know, like when I first came to you, I didn't realize I had anything on me like I did. And, you know, once you worked on me for a little bit, well, then it was like, wow, that is really cool. And I didn't know that I had as much on me as I did. But I felt an actual lightness and freedom.
It's almost impossible to be a human in this world and not pick up something at some time, or not have some type of guilt or spirit of fear or something that is guilt. I mean, it's just not possible. And then that's why the classes are so important. Even if you never ever walk in any type of healing or any type of gift, if nothing else, the first class teaches you how to continually cleanse yourself, how to help your family stay cleansed, and how to walk in that light and that authority. And that's why I think the class 1 is so important. If nothing else, it's a way of life. Wouldn't you say, Molly? Yeah. Well, even as we work in this field, and sometimes we'll do investigations for, you know, whatever reason, and working with investigators and things like that, you don't necessarily realize it till it's there, or it's really a problem. And I'm speaking from people, you know, saying what people have said to us,
And it's pretty intense, when we go in and we do a clearing on somebody like that, and they're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I had anything like that on me.
Yeah. As investigators, though, we do pick up a lot.
Oh yeah.
Unintentionally.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what I love doing is when we can tell them where they picked it up at, like we did you guys. And they're like, well, how did you know that? And my answer is always, well, some people say I'm gifted.
That's my magic.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you also are fond of the phrase "that's my magic."
Yeah. Yes, and that is our magic. I had said I had a shaman one time come up to me and tell me, he said, so many people in this world are trying to get the light in them, and he said, you are the light trying to be contained in the body. And he said, a lot of people aren't going to get you. And I said, but that is not magic. And that is the truth. And I've known that since I was a child. That is the magic that God has given me since I was a child. Tess can tell you, we get this a lot. And again, no roses on my shoulders. This isn't about me. This is how strong, when you submit yourself to God, He is. This is the light of God. We've actually had people walk up to me and tell me they couldn't look at me because of the light, and there's not a light on me or the light around me. And I love that. I love that God will do that for me, and He loves me enough that He allows that light to shine like that. And I think it's hilarious when they come up and tell me, I can't talk to your mother. Her light's too bright. I'm like, what, is my light dimmer? Is that why it's okay to talk to me? Sorry.
Well, guys, we've only got about 3 more minutes left in the show. How can somebody get in touch with you?
They can't. No.
They're on the road all the time. They can't.
No. They can go to Facebook and go to Mountain Gypsies, and you'll see us. You'll know immediately it's us because our hair's crazy. We've both had naturally crazy hair, and it's all over the place. And also, you can go to my name's Kat Young, but Facebook says that Kat's not a real name, so I had to pick Kathy Young in there. So if you look up Kathy Young, you can find me there, and you can send me a message there, or you can go to Tess's Facebook, which what's it under, Tess? Is it under Tess? It's under Tessa Ray Lee Hughes, because my Facebook is really old. Yeah. And so it's Tessa Ray Lee Hughes. You can go there and leave a message. When we get our new office open, we'll have new phone numbers and all that, and we'll be posting that soon. And I guess if you want to get an appointment next weekend in Alabama with Molly, you can go to Molly Spence's Facebook and leave her a private message as well. But well, I have a question. Did this answer your question about what I think about the Gypsies on TV compared to us?
I'm sorry, could you repeat that, please?
I said, does this answer the question that he had about us compared to the Gypsies on TV? Anything we said? A little bit.
The question was for you, Kevin.
I'm sorry.
If they answered the question about there being gypsies like anything like the ones on TV.
Oh no, you guys are
question.
No comparison. No comparison. I would actually watch your show.
I would get. Well, maybe we'll get one of these days. There's my 3-year-old.
Name it on the road again.
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. So, we're on the road a lot, but we are home enough up here to do some work on our, local people. But I love traveling. I can't help it. People are like, don't you get tired of that? And we don't. So, but we thank you guys so much for letting us, talk on the show. Thank you guys. I'm sorry we're so shy.
Well, it happens, but but I'm so glad you consented to come on and everything. It's been great, and maybe we have got you a new fan base here in Huntsville. And
oh my God, they're awesome people. They're so wonderful. We were treated so good, Molly. I'm telling you.
And when you come back, I'd like to meet you.
Sure.
Me too. Are you going to be there?
You know what? I'm always around. You never know where I'll pop up.
So you're kind of like the Holy Spirit, or what? You know?
Well, I can't compare quite to that, but I am rather stealthy. So.
Well, we'll have to definitely make it a point to meet and let us put our hands on you and stuff. And in only the best way possible did I mean that.
Oh.
I was going to say, don't go that way again.
You let him speak for himself, Molly.
All right. Well, maybe he would enjoy it.
Hey.
That's between you and Kathy. You're Kathy, Kevin.
Hey.
Don't tell everything.
There you go. Yeah. What happens on the buzz stays on the buzz, right?
Exactly. There you go.
And no one's listening.
Well.
No one's listening. So.
Hey, I can always edit.
That's funny.
But thank you guys. Thank you so much for joining us. And like I said, this is a pre-record, and we're going to put it up. And also, would you care if I YouTubed it a little bit early?
No, not at all. Then no, thank you. Actually, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
But thank you guys so much for being with us today.
Well, we appreciate you having us very much, and I've had a blast. And thank you all for getting our sense of humor. I really appreciate that.
It's a necessary quality nowadays. So, and I'll find some good radio stations before you come back.
Well, I bet you can't top the one I had them listening to.
Very true.
I bet you can't. But anyway.
All right, guys.
We look forward to seeing you next week then. Next Thursday.
Yeah, I do too. I can't wait to see you. And hopefully we'll have Dan T. Hall with us, the director and producer of Ismo Films. He may be coming with us. So, and we're definitely going to have Nick White with us from Kirstendale Ridge. You know, we travel with all these, snobbery people. No, they just
More
happen
the
to be our
merrier.
friends. Yeah, we love these people. These are all good friends of ours. So, we have to surround ourselves with people. We can't help it. But we love you guys, and again, thank you all for having us.
Okay, love you too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Well, there you go, Molly.
There we go.
The Mountain Gypsies. So we've only got about 3 more minutes left. Coming up next after the buzz is Al Warren's House of Mystery. So make sure you stay tuned for that.
Yay.
And we will be back again next Monday, same time, same place, with another high-quality show.
Exactly.
I'm so excited.
As always. Okay, well, that'll wrap it for another week, I guess.
Yes, it will. And
that bartender in the way here, or
oh my
see,
goodness!
He shows up. I don't care what time of day or night it is. He shows up.
You know what? We are early today, and he still shows up. I'm taking it personal.
Hey, file a grievance report.
We're going to the Better Business Bureau.
We are. We're
going to have to find a new bar.
I am so glad everybody listened in and learned more about the Mountain Gypsies, and hopefully you'll book a session with them while they're here, either this time or the next time they come in.
And you better hurry now because, like Molly said, things are filling up fast.
We still have room for Class 1. For those that didn't take Class 1 this past time, it is still available for Saturday. What day is that? Shoot fire.
Oh, boy. You're going to make me pull up the calendar.
The 14th.
The 14th.
The 14th. And so if you're interested, you can get in touch with me at 256-874-5391, and we will get you signed up. And I can give you more information.
And just in case Britta's listening, here's your music. All right, everybody. Well, thank you for listening to The Buzz on ztalkradio.com. And make sure to join us again next Monday night at 8 o'clock Central. Good night, everybody.
Good night.